Welcome to another Gauging Gadgets review video. In this video we have a smart floodlight from Ring. So this is a wired floodlight from Ring, which means in addition to being a motion activated floodlight, it also connects to your app via the Ring app so that you can control it from there, schedule it, and also sync it with other Ring smart lights you have so that the smart lights can all interact and trigger each other if in a group. You can currently get these on Amazon for around $70, and check the description, I'll have a link for Amazon, but I was able to pick this up on eBay for around $45. So in this video, we're gonna start out with a quick unboxing of the Ring floodlight so that you see what comes in the box and also get a closer look at the quality of the floodlight. After that, I'll show you how to install it, then set it up with the Ring app, and then we'll go through what I think about the light. Before we get started, it's important to note that this light does require the Ring bridge, which is usually sold separate, and I will not be showing you how to set that up because I already have it set up. So just keep that in mind. If you buy this, you also need to have a Ring bridge, which is basically just the hub that it uses to communicate with the internet. So as you can see here on the front, this light has 2000 lumens, so it's very bright. It also is weather resistant, so it should be perfect outside and offer some good security there. Let's go ahead and get this open. There we go, we have the actual top off. So first we have some information. This is also an installation guide. We'll be going through that later. Then we have a QR code that you use to connect this smart light to the app. So this is an important piece of documentation. A Ring sticker you can put on your house. And then we have some tools to actually install this. Let's see what we have in here. Looks like we have a little screwdriver with a flathead and a Phillips head. Then a mounting bracket, a little hook to make the installation a little easier. You just hook the light on to your mount and then it will stay in place while you wire it up. And then we have assorted screws and 3 screw-on wire connectors. So now we'll get this out of the box. There we go, we have the light right there. Looks like in here we also have a mounting bracket and then a gasket that you can attach to make sure this is actually waterproof. And that's everything in the box. So as you can see, right here is the sensor. And I'm interested to see what range this has because it does look to be almost a 360-degree sensor rather than just pointing in one direction. Nice Ring logo. This does have a nice sturdy feel to it. As you can see, the sensor can be articulated in different directions. You just loosen this up and then you can kind of move it around. So looking at the actual lights here, they have 4 big LEDs and a nice plastic lens over them. Now these can be moved however you need them to be. You can also rotate the light to point it in any direction you need. So if you're either going to mount this on the side of a building or on the eave of a roof, something like that, you can move these however you need with the motion sensor so that they will point in the direction that you need them to. Pretty cool. We'll show you more of that when we get this set up. So it looks like when we're actually mounting this light and installing it, all we need to do is add this piece of metal to the mounting box via 2 screws. Then we get 1 screw, put it through the center of this mounting block right here. To attach it, you run the wires from the light through there, and then the light will connect right here, like so. So as you can see, when I place that there, the wires actually line up with the hole, and you should be able to screw in your screws right here, and you're attached and hooked up. So let's go ahead and get this installed. So we're going to be installing this in a place where there's already a light, so there's already electrical ran. The first thing we want to do is make sure we turn off the electricity to this light, and the best way to do that is through the breakers. So go ahead and do that and then remove the old light. So per the instructions, screws A through E are actually what you're going to be using to mount the metal bracket to your junction box. It really just depends. So go ahead and try these, starting with A being the most common. And then if these don't work, you can try the other ones all the way up to E. So when you're putting the mounting bracket up, I find that it's much easier to get a screw started, and I was able to use the A screws, and then you can just slide the actual mounting bracket on, and then you can get it into position for the other screw. So it's actually easier to do it that way. And then once you get this actually installed, you just want to make sure you have the text saying front facing outwards. Now we need to install the weather gasket right here. And basically all we need to do is get the plastic mounting piece right here and remove the back of the 3M tape. Then line this hole up on the actual mounting plate with the hole on the gasket. And you just want to connect them like so that you can see through the hole here and you can see through the hole here. If it's not perfect, you can take it off and just try to get it a little bit better, like so. Now we're good to go. Then before we actually screw the mounting bracket on, we want to make sure that the wires are coming through the hole, so when we put it up there, they're easy for installation. So now we can put the screw in the center to connect it to the metal mounting bracket on the inside. And once you get it all screwed in, it should look like this. As you can see, pretty cool. One quick thing you need to keep in mind is basically the direction of these two screws is where the motion sensor is going to sit. So if you just loosen this up a little bit, you can turn this to get it to go whichever way you need it to go so that it faces in the direction that you want it to be. Once you have it aligned, just tighten it up and then you're good to go. You also want to ensure that the up and the arrow on the mounting bracket is pointing away if you're installing it like this, or if you're installing it on a wall, that is pointing up. Just keep that in mind. So they recommend aligning the motion sensor before you actually mount it. So because I'm hanging this upside down rather than on a wall, I just need to rotate the motion sensor like so that it can face down. And all you need to do that is simply loosen the screw on this little ring right here. And once you're done, just reinstall it and tighten it up. And then you can just get it tight as soon as you get it into its actual final position. So now is where we actually get the wires connected, and they recommend using the hook so it'll hold it in place while you get the wires connected, and you don't have to worry about them slipping or anything like that. It's very helpful. And then you simply connect white to white and black to black. And if they're not clearly marked like this, you should probably contact an electrician. Now that the wires are fully connected, we just need to push the wires all the way back into the junction box using the little hole right here. So push them through until it looks like that. So I have the wire connectors up in the actual junction box there, as you can see. And then we can go ahead and get the two mounting screws and get the light actually installed onto my house. And for that, we use the H screw. And then you'll be done. Your light's mounted. You can then get the lights aligned however you want by just moving them around, and make sure that your actual motion sensor is pointed in the direction that you want it to actually sense motion. Now with this little ring up here, you can just use a little razor blade or something and cut it off, and it should look much nicer. But you're done, and we can now go through the setup process in the Ring app. You can then turn on the power to the light, and after a couple seconds, it'll flash, and then it will stay on, as you can see here, letting you know that we installed it correctly and it has power. So now with the light powered on, we need the paper that has the QR code on it, and then we need to go to our phone and our respective app store and download the Ring app. And check the description, I'll have direct links for Android phones as well as iPhones, so just go ahead and install the app and then open it up. Once the app opens, you may have to create an account. And once you create an account or log in, if you're not prompted to add a device, from the main screen here, all you need to do is select Set up a device. And then we just need to scroll down and select Smart Lighting. Once you do that, if you don't already have a location set up in the app, you need to add a location, and this will help with certain things such as sunrise, sunset, when using smart features of the app, as well as grouping different devices at that location. So go ahead and select or add a location and select Continue at the bottom. And now we need to get our piece of paper that has our QR code, select I'm ready to scan, then find the QR code, scan it, and with the light on, it should be able to find it. Now, like I said earlier, you do have to have a Ring bridge already set up. So if you already have that set up, select Continue, and then we've already installed the light, so we'll select It's been installed, and now it'll start looking for that device. It didn't find it initially, so I just power cycled the device, and now it found it, and it started updating it. So if it doesn't find it initially, I recommend getting closer or power cycling it using the breaker if you need to. But once it finds it, it'll start installing any updates that are available. And you can see a little progress bar right there, which is pretty cool. And then once it finishes installing any updates, you'll be able to add your device to a group. So grouping devices enables them to turn each other on. So if one device senses motion, it'll turn all the lights on in the group. And you can also schedule and set up different smart activities for a group rather than individual devices. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my backyard group right here. And I'll just name it Backyard Floodlight and then select Continue. And then it's going to go through the process of linking those devices and then renaming my device. And then now we're done. All we'd have to do is select I'm done. And as you can see now with the light installed and set up in the app, I can turn it on like so, and I can turn it off. And now let's go through the app so you have an understanding of what you can control and how to do it. So once you open the app, you can just select lights up in the top up here. So we're going to select lights, and we can see all the different Ring lights we have installed. From there, just find and select the floodlight we just installed and set up. And then once in here, we can turn it on manually using lights right here. We can also turn on and off motion detection. And then we have a ton of options at the bottom. So we can first view any event history. This will let us know when the light was turned on or off, and also when it detected motion. And keep in mind, just because it detects motion, based on your settings, it may not turn on the lights. So if during the day the light is not on or off, and you want to see if someone was in your backyard or near the light, you can see that using the motion detection within the event history, which is pretty cool. Additionally, in here we have light settings, and if I go in there, we can go into the actual light sensor. And basically what the light sensor does is if it detects lights such as the sun up, it won't turn on the light. So first you can turn on or off the light sensor, which I'm going to have on, and then you can determine the threshold for how bright it is outside. So if you want the light to turn on maybe around dusk rather than full sundown, you can configure that here. Next in the settings here we have motion settings, and this is where we can turn on the sensitivity for the actual motion detector. And I recommend playing with this. You can also go into custom, and there rather than having 3 different settings, you have 7 different settings. So if you really want to fine tune it, you can do that there. I find medium works great for me, and because this is actually a power device rather than something on a battery, you don't have to be worried about it using up too much battery. Keep in mind anything in the group will also turn on. So if those are battery devices, it could cause more battery usage out of those devices. So after that, we have linked devices, and this is where we can see all the linked devices. And you can also have other groups turn on with this device. So if you want to have multiple groups linked, this is where you would set that up. Additionally, in here we have device schedules. So we can go in here and add a light schedule. So if we want the light to come on for an hour after sunset, we can configure that in here by selecting Add Light Schedule. And then it will go through either a wizard or manual. You can give it a name, then have it turn on at dusk, and you can have it turn off at dawn or a custom time. So if you wanted to turn off at 9 p.m. every night, you could do that here, and then you just enable the days of the week, which is pretty cool. So now this device would turn on at dusk, and then it's going to turn off at 9 p.m. Additionally, in here we have device health, and this is where you can see the device status as well as the connection and its firmware version. Finally, down here we have general settings, and this is where we can change the name and also change the group for the device. And if you're getting rid of the device, you can remove it from your Ring account by just selecting Remove Device. After that, they have some help and FAQ down here, so if you have any issues, you can figure it out there. All right, so just so you can get an idea of what this looks like at night, let me go ahead and turn it on. As you can see, extremely bright. It lights up the entire area all the way over and then down into my backyard. In the app, I can turn it on and off. And that works very well. They advertise that the motion detection works at 180 degrees. So as you can see, I'm all the way to the right of it. And if I walk just a little bit to the right, it'll sense that movement and pick it up. So I would say that the 180 degrees of motion detection is accurate. Just to give you another idea, from a little bit further out, you can see just how bright it is. Now, I liked it so much, I actually decided to get another one for my garage door area. As you can see, and this one is extremely bright. It lights up the entire driveway and is very bright. So not only does it provide the lighting, which I want, it also alerts anyone around that someone is in the area. One thing I also like about these floodlights is while they're pointed down, it still lights up the entire area. As you can see, the trees up here are all lit up. So the entire area around is lit up very nicely, which is great for spiders, things like that, if you're walking out here. All right, so as you just saw there, those were some examples of the Ring wired floodlight in action. I've been using it for about 4 months now, and I have been extremely happy with it. I've had no connection issues, and it works perfectly. And in groups, it works great and flawlessly. I've also been very impressed with how bright the light is. Like you saw in the video, it lights up the entire area. I've also found that the sensor works very well. It detects motion at a very long distance and also at a wide degree of angle. So I found it to be at least 180 degrees and about 100 feet with motion detection. The installation process was also very easy. I love that they included tools and everything you would need to install this floodlight on your house yourself. And then with the rubber gasket, I've also found that it is weather resistant, no issues with rain or anything like that. Overall, I would highly recommend the Ring wired floodlight. I think it's a great value, works great, is extremely bright, and you also get the smart features that allow you to not only turn on and off and schedule it in an app, but you can group it with other smart devices around your home. All right, so that was my review of the Ring wired floodlight. If you have any questions about this, leave a comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'm going to add an affiliate link to the description below so you can find this device on Amazon as well as several other retailers. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel, Gauging Gadgets, for more gadget reviews and tech tutorials. Thank you so much for watching.